Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. So we'll study the next topic that is in continuation to the demand topic that we studied earlier. This is the topic of supply. So considering what is supply actually, as the name suggests or the topic suggests, the supply means anything related to the producers segment of the economy. So when producers are considered, what do? They produce goods and services or make goods and services in the economy. And with the making of goods and services, they sell these goods and services in the market. So when they sell, that is, they even distribute these goods and services in the market at a particular price. So when we talk about supply, we'll always look on to the price that the producer is using or the producer is selling the goods at which prices and what goods is he selling in the market. So let's see the definition of supply. What is supply then? Supply is the amount of goods and services that the producer or a firm, you can also take a manufacturing firm here, or you can also take a business firm, a producer or a producing firm, that who is willing to produce or make, that is produce or make. We can use two things as well, and we can also use grow. That means anything that is made, that is produced in the market and sold in the market at different prices. So what is important? First one is prices. Second one is the produce or the output. So these are the two important things that are important things that are considered while we are reading supply. So as the price of the commodity rises, the supply also increases. In demand, we saw that as the price rise, the quantity demanded fall. But in the case of supply, as the price rises, the quantity supply also rises. Why is this the case? Because the producers will be willing to produce more at higher prices, but the consumers will not be willing to accept or purchase more at higher prices. So this is the fact that with the increase in the prices, the quantity demanded will fall, but with the increase in the prices, the quantity supplied will rise. Now coming on to the terminologies that are used during the supply concept. First one is the quantity supplied. Again, this shows the number of goods or services or products or services that are supplied or sold in the market at different prices is called quantity supplied. So you just need to understand this is the total number. Now we have is the market supply. Market supply means all the different producers, not different. A market, suppose we take the example of a shoe market. So all the producers of shoes and the total number of the shoes that are supplied in the market by all the producers of that particular shoe is called the market supply. So be it 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 15, suppose this leads to 45 units of goods or shoes sold in the market for shoes. So this is called market supply. We horizontally sum these number of commodities when we talk about quantity supplied in the market, and this leads to what is market supply. Next we have is supply schedule. Now supply schedule is nothing as the demand schedule that includes a table that shows the price and the quantity supplied. There we had price and quantity demanded. Here we will be having price and quantity supplied. So at different prices, there will be different types of commodities supplied or sold in the market. Suppose 50, 60, 70. Every time the price increases from 20 to 25, 25 to 30, quantity supplied will also increase. So this is what is the relationship between price and quantity supplied when supply is concerned. Next we have is total revenue. Total revenue means price times quantity. Price into quantity is equals to total revenue. Why? Because revenue means anything that is incoming to the business after the items are sold in the market. So if the shoe is sold, or maybe any pen set or laptops or mobile phones or bottles are sold in the market, then whatever the amount that particular producer is receiving, after selling these items in the market. This is called revenue. And the last is similar to the one that we discussed in demand, that is ceteris paribus, which is a Latin phrase meaning keeping other things constant. So like in demand, there were different determinants that affected demand. We also have the similar determinants that affect supply. Not similar, the determinants are different, but yes, there are determinants that affect the supply of a good or service as well. So let's see them. We'll see them further. First, we have is a supply schedule of Starbucks lattes produced and served. So we need to draw the supply curve. This is the price of lattes in dollars, and this is the quantity supplied of lattes. Now, when the price, one feature of this schedule is when the price increased from $1 to $2, $2 to $3, $3 to $4, and so on. That is, price is increasing. The quantity supplied also increased from 3 to 6 to 6 to 9, from 9 to 12, and so on. That means quantity supplied also increase. So when the price rises, quantity supplied also increases. This is the relationship. Now, considering this fact and producing a graph out of this supply schedule, we'll get something like this. That is an upward sloping supply curve with the price of lattes and quantity of lattes here, and this is the supply curve. So this shows a supply curve. Now at any price, suppose this is the price 4 and the quantity is 12, and suppose $4, and at $6, if the prices have increased, the quantity will be increased to 18. So there is a positive relationship between quantity and price. So when the price rises, quantity supplied also rise. Now, conversely, if the price becomes $2, price falls, the quantity also decreases from 12 to 9. That is the quantity, sorry, not demanded, supplied. And this will lead to price fall, quantity supplied fall as well. So this is called a supply curve, and we can say that the supply curve is upward sloping. Along with it has a positive slope, plus it depicts a positive or direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. I hope this is clear. Next we have is the movement of the supply curve. Again, as we talked about the movement of the demand curve, those who've not seen that video, please go and check it. As we talked about the movement of the demand curve, we will always be talking about the movement of the supply curve. The only difference here is about the graph and the supply curve. So we have extension and contraction again, like we did earlier. So this is your supply curve, one supply curve, like one demand curve. We have 3 points. Now, suppose your initial price is P1 and your initial quantity is Q1. So we have initial price as P1 and initial quantity as Q1. Now, suppose the prices increases from QP to P1. New price 1. P1 to P2. So your new quantity 1 will be increased from Q1 to Q2, right? This means that your point shifts from A1 to A2. Now, since the quantity has increased, it will show extension, obviously. So when there is an increase in quantity supplied or increase in quantity demanded, we always show extension in quantity supplied, or the movement of the supply curve is extension. Now, on the other hand, new prices 2. Suppose the prices fall from P1 to P3. So your new quantity will be means a little less from Q1 to Q3. This shows that there will be a change from A1 to A3, depicting a lower quantity supplied, and this will lead to contraction. that is quantity supplied fall. So movement of the supply curve will show extension and contraction on the same supply. We have the similar case with the determinants of the supply that will lead to a shift in the supply curve. Now, how will we see shift? Let's see that. So shift in the supply curve will have increase and decrease, obviously. Coming back to increase and decrease. When there is increase, the supply curve will shift rightwards. And when there is a decrease, the supply curve will shift leftwards. So coming on to increase, this shows the increase in the supply curve from S1 to S2, and this shows to decrease in the supply curve from S1 to S2 leftwards. So here you should always consider that there is a rightward and a leftward shift, and you cannot take upward and a downward shift in case of supply curve. Now, how did the supply curve shift? Supply curve shifted due to all the non-price determinants present in the economy that affect the supply directly, but they do not include the price determinants. Price is not included. So let's take the reasons or the shift or reasons for the shift in the supply curve. What are these reasons? First one is changes in the cost of factors of production. Now, what is cost of factors of production? Suppose factors of production. What are the four factors of production that we discussed in the introduction part of the series that were factors of production? They were land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So when there are land, labor, capital, and enterprise, we can say that the cost that is incurred by the firm to actually put land, labor, capital, and enterprise in the same go leads to increase in the cost of production. Suppose the rent on land increases, or you can say the wages increase, interest is also increasing. These three leads to problems for the firms because firms have to pay for these three things more now, and this leads to cost of production increase. If the cost of production increases, the production will fall. If the production fall, the supply will fall. That means there will be a fall in the market supply and the supply curve will shift leftwards, that is towards the left, S1 to S2 this case. So with the increase in the cost of production, the production will fall and the supply will also fall, leading to leftward shift. Conversely, if there is a fall in the cost of production, the production will rise and the supply will also rise, leading to an increase in the market supply. Next we have is change in prices of other goods and services. Now, as we considered substitute and complementary goods in the demand curve case, we will be considering other goods and services like the fact that suppose we take the example of shoes. So the other goods and services related to shoes would be anything that is maybe lace, maybe other goods, or if there are any kind of substitute goods. Suppose we take an example of tea and coffee. In case of production, what will happen in the market for tea? If the price of coffee rises, the producers of coffee will be selling more of coffee. The demand for tea will fall. Sorry, demand for tea will rise, but the quantity supplied of tea will fall. Why? Because coffee has increased and the people will be shifting to it. So when there is a change in the prices of goods and services, there will be a change in the market supply as well. Now, considering other types of goods and services that are present, suppose we take an example of lace, we take that is used in the shoes. We also take the example of buttons maybe, or you can say leather. So all these things, when the price of these things increases, suppose lace increase, buttons increase, leather increase, this will lead to a direct impact on the cost of production that will reduce production. When it reduces production, supply will fall and this will lead to the decrease in the supply curve. So this was the case of other goods and services. Now coming to availability of raw materials. Sticking on to the case of shoes only. If the firm does not has lace, does not have buttons, and even the leather, then what will happen? The firm will not be able to produce shoes. That will lead to a decline in the production. That will further lead to decline in supply. So again, this one. Conversely, if there is more availability of lace or left out laces or left out buttons or left out leather, this will lead to an increase in the market supply because the firm will be able to produce more. Next is changes in the profits obtained by other goods and services. Now, the people who are sticking on to one particular market, if I talk about other market, if the firms that are engaged in the production of other goods and services have profits, so the profits of other firms increase. When the profits of other firm increases, obviously what will happen? They can make a larger market, they can capture the market, and their supply will increase. And the supply of the domestic product that we are talking about will eventually fall. Next is technological considerations. Suppose we have a very obsolete technology present in our company and obsolete technology present in our company, and we are using this particular technology from past 10 to 15 years. So this will lead to problems in quality. This will lead to hampered production, number maybe, quantity maybe, and this will also lead to no customer attraction. Attraction will be zero. So in this case, with the improvements in technology or with the improvements in the machinery, tools, equipments, and other techniques that are used in the production process, the firms can easily increase the supply in the market. This will lead to a rightward shift in the supply curve. And conversely, if there is obsolete technology, there will be a fall in market supply. Businesses' future expectations and vision, fear of economic downturn. So now economic downturn is also referred to as recession. Considering the COVID-19 pandemic, that is the first recent pandemic that we've come across, where we had lockdown. So considering lockdown, there the firms were shut. In this case, what happened was that the business's future expectations and visions were hampered. Now, considering the fact that businesses' future expectations and visions, we are in the current period and we will be talking about the future period. Now, suppose if a business predicts or forecasts that in future there might be a recessionary phase or an economic downturn, what will the business do? It will try to increase the supply today. Why will it supply today? Because it will not be able to supply in the future when there is recession in the economy. Now, if it predicts the opposite, that is, if it predicts that there will be a good impact on the economy, or there will be a boom condition in the economy, or a recovery phase maybe, this can lead to stop of supply in the current period and increase in the supply in the future. So this is one of the examples that leads to increase in the supply and decrease in the supply in the future and current period. Next we have is government subsidies and tax on producers. Subsidies are the monetary help that the government gives to the companies in order to reduce their cost of production and help them produce goods and services in the economy. These government subsidies help the companies to actually reduce costs of production. As I just explained, subsidies are monetary help by the government that leads to cost of production decline. If the cost of production declines, the production of goods and services is likely to increase. That will further increase the supply, and the supply curve will shift rightwards from S1 to S2. Now, considering taxes, taxes are the monetary takeaway from the people towards the government. So if taxes rise, what will happen? Cost of production will also increase. Production or output will fall, and this will lead to supply fall. So there will be a fall in the market supply. Converse to these, if the taxes fall and subsidies fall, the supply will fall and rise respectively. Other factors include pandemic, international or global problems, natural disasters, etc. Considering pandemic I just talked about, that is lockdowns and firms shut, leads to problems for the economy that led to the supply of goods and services to decrease. Next is international or global problems here. That means anything that is happening abroad. Now, if I consider the case of Ukraine and Russia war, somehow all the economies that are related to these two countries in some or the other way are impacted, maybe through trade, maybe through uh, trade of weapons and articles and ammunitions, etc., maybe through trade of other items, goods that were only given by Russia or Ukraine to the other countries. Then this may hamper the market supply of that particular good in the domestic country. And the last is natural disaster. If there is a cyclone, or you can say if there is a thunderstorm, or you can also say a flood, these all lead to decrease in the agricultural aspects, or you can say agricultural goods and services, that leads to decrease in the supply. So in natural disaster, generally, very generally, the agriculture sector is impacted adversely, because agriculture sector needs open air, open space to be done. So I hope the supply component is clear to everybody, and the reasons are also clear. We will be coming up with the next video soon that will be related to the market equilibrium and how there are changes in the demand and supply in the economy. Thank you.